Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. ज्ञानरञ्जनोत्सलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितामेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितां येन भूतले स्वयं रूपगदामायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपादकं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं संव्रजातं सहगणो रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा भक्तकांचन गौरंगे राधे कृष्णभानुसुते देवी वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम So I'm very happy to be here today, taking the opportunity to thank the host of our program today, and Rich Prabhu, and all the devotees have assembled here. May the mercy of Guru and Gauranga be upon all of us. And we are going to continue today on the subject matter of Bhakti, Bhakta, and Bhagavan. Yesterday we talked a little bit in a depth manner on the subject of bhakti. And bhakti also is meant love. And love cannot be a blind love. When it's in a blind love that accompanied, the blind love accompanied with different kinds of violence. Either mentally we are disturbing somebody, or with your speech you may hurt somebody, or physically you may also hurt somebody. So totally the violence is not allowed in the path of human life, not only Krishna consciousness. So Mahaprabhu comes to the world to take us to the right journey of bhakti. He says Vairagya Viddhi, Nija Bhakti Yogam. Nija means truth. The truth love in the world is accompanied by Jnana and Vairagya, knowledge and detachment. So that knowledge is very important. That is why in the Manu Dharma, the Manu says that, when you've got the children, when they are 5 years old, the education should begin in their lives. Up to the age of 5 years old, they can run around, play around, whatever they want to do, we let them to do. But when the children comes to the age of 5 years old, the parents should call the children to sit in front of them. And they have to tell them there are 5 important things in life. One is that wealth. The money is very important for our survival in the world. Second are the elders, very important in our life. The third is that our relatives, very important. The fourth is that our habits are very important. And the fifth is that education is very important. So the parents should remind the children, you can let go wealth. You can let go your elders. You can let go the relatives. You can let go your habits. But there is no way, no reason you can let go education. From the very beginning, from that 5 years old, parents should be running behind the children. Study, study, study. If they are properly educated in their life, the wealth, money will come and look for them. The elders will come to look for them. The relatives will come to look for them. The habit also will come proper. Everything, it is culminates. In the knowledge, in the chapter 4:33, Krishna explained, Sreya Dravyan Maya Yagya Jnana Yagya Parantapa Sarva Karma Kilam Pada Jnanam Parisamipyate. Every activities of human beings are culminates in the knowledge. That is why the next verse Krishna said, Tadvati Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshante Jnana Jnanina Sattvadarshinaha. Go and look for a bona fide spiritual master and serve him and inquire from him. And he can impart the knowledge to you because he has seen the truth. Yagyatva moham punar moham. He said, when you go and approach and took this lesson, knowledge from your spiritual mother, then you'll never put again into that illusion condition of life. So in this way, love is very important. It's a basic platform in human life to come to the life of happiness and peace. Without love and with all kinds of, enmity, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, they are the enemies of human being. And we are doing everything in this kind of material condition. It's a contaminated stage. The prema, the love of Krishna is transformed into a kama. And the kama becomes krodha. Krodha becomes lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. In this way, it is more and more and more bringing so all kinds of contamination in our life, where we have got money, we are not very peaceful. And we are sitting in a position, we also not very peaceful. Even we have got everything in our life. Somewhere or other, the whole world is not very peaceful compared to 56 years ago, when we did not have this kind of advancement in our life. They're coming from a very humble background, from a village life. There is no electricity. There is no clean water for drinking. There is no schools nearby. You have to go 8 9 kilometers. That takes 3 4 hours for you. You have to walk. In many ways, we did not have that kind of advancement.
Mm.
But people were very happy and peaceful. We never heard anybody that somebody have sent a divorce paper. We never heard that anybody getting divorced in our place. Hardly. When they marry the daughter go away some problems, she comes back with the house, then she gets beaten up in the house, throw them back again. You know, it's a way of life.
Mm.
Somewhere or other the knowledge was there that life journey will educate you.
Mm.
What you're not learning inside your house, inside your your husband's place or wife's place. But definitely the journey of life is an education for us. Every moment we're learning something in our life. So in this way that the knowledge becomes so important part in our life. Whatever we do in our life, it has to be supported by the knowledge. Otherwise, it has become not much of value even for your own self, with all kinds of advancement you have got. And you're foolishly acting with your advancement. That will cause, tremendous difficulty and problem into your life. So that is why Prabhupada said at least, he wants his devotees to read the books at least 2 hours a day. We should go back to Prabhupada books. So in this way that we cannot, trying to love somebody with your material sentiments, material emotion, because the material sentiments are fluctuating. In the chapter 14 text 10, Krishna explained, Rajastama Chabibhuya Sarvam Bhavati Bharata Rajatasum Tamasyaiva Tamasatum Rajastata. And sometimes the emotion, the mode of goodness become prominent. And sometimes, the mode of passionate defeats the mode of goodness, it become prominent. Sometimes, the mode of ignorance defeats the mode of goodness and passionate, it become prominent. Somewhere or other, it has been fluctuating. The chapter 6, text 26, Krishna says, Yato yato nishalaki, manam chanchalam astiram tato tata nimyat, atmani eva vasudnai. Vasa means bring it back under your control. Because the mind is, without any foundation and is fluctuating, chanchala, jumping like a monkey. So how are you going to have a peace and happiness in your life when in your mind is not settled down? So in this way, that is very important that life, that my basic principle to be happy and peaceful in our life, we must have that loving emotion in our side. That is why Krishna has given us eternal emotion. It is called Sai Bhava. And to cultivate that Sai Bhava, you need Vibhava. There's a subject, there's an object. The object is Krishna. The subjects are the devotees. If a devotee is acting without knowledge in the name of Krishna consciousness, that brings in more trouble and difficulty, disturbance in the organization. So importantly, we have to understand that bhakti, love is very important, and love has to be accompanied by knowledge. So in this way, that everything is to be done in the platform of knowledge, then comes to the detachment again. Now the problem is that many people, they do not understand the importance of imbibing the knowledge into their life. We all are here, but not necessarily we are like absorbed into what we are hearing. Somebody's mind may not be here. Maybe they're waiting when the prasadam is going to be. No. And Tukaram time, Tukaram was a very great devotee of the Lord. And then he goes and then, he's, bhajan kirtan, he absorbed into the, subject matter. And one time he went to one temple and then, he was sitting and singing bhajan and started about evening, 6 o'clock, he's singing and singing, it's already about midnight, he go close his eyes, absorbed, he doesn't even, remembers that there are audience are sitting there and they all are there, have to finish in time and, so many other things to happen, but he absorbed in singing and singing and singing. And then, midnight, he came out from the trance, and opened his eyes, he saw that everybody have gone except one fellow. Only one fellow is sitting, all are gone ready. And at least he was very happy, at least this fellow got some bhakti. Then he said, I'm very happy, at least, you stayed back to hear the bhajan. And man says, Swamiji, I'm very sorry, I'm not here to listen to your bhajan. You are sitting on my blanket. I'm waiting to take my blanket. Yeah. So in this way, very importantly, if I say, bhakti is a cultivation process. You have to cultivate bhakti. That you need a lot of tolerance. You need a lot of tolerance towards, even in your own, personal life, to live with another person and to live with the children, to carry on even your household duties in your workplace, everywhere. You need, very great tolerance in your life. Like, Tukaram, his descendants, his parampara comes the Ekanath Mahan. Another very great devotee has produced, the Ekanath Mahan. And he is practicing the tolerance in his life. And he's so advanced, he never become angry, never get angry. But then, every time he goes to the, Godavari river to take bath, and there were a group of Muslim people, they will sit and then they will play cards, gamble. And in the cards game, someone will become angry, and another fellow will say, oh, why you become angry, learn from, Ekanath Mahan. Ekanath Mahan going all the time, pass by these people. And then one day, one fellow said, oh, you all the time giving, an example of Ekanath Mahan that you will never get angry. What happened if today I make him angry? The other fellow says, if you can make him angry, without the card games, you take out all the money. So that time when Eknath Mahan was going, so this Muslim fellow came, and then he saw Eknath Mahan going. Eknath went and took bath in the Godavari river, and on the way back, he stopped him and then he spit on his face. Then Eknath Mahan goes back. Didn't protest, didn't say anything, goes back to the Godavari river again, comes back again, the fellow spit on his face. In this way, it happens, 108 times. And no longer has got the saliva to spit on him. All that right, Then he bowed down at his feet. After the 108 times, he has practically humiliated Ekanath Mahan. Then he fell at his feet, he said, I'm very sorry that I've offended you. Ekanath Mahan says, no. Actually, I should be bowing down at your feet. He said, why? He said, because, every time I come to the Godavari river, I take bath one time and I go back. Today, because of you, I got opportunity to take bath 108 times. So that same, thing is turn it around positively for his own Krishna consciousness. So then he becomes so advanced in spiritual journey. And then even, Krishna himself, in the name of Kandya Krishna, he comes to his house because he's getting old and he wants to do something for, Ekanath. He's doing everything by himself. So Krishna comes, in a 12-year boy, form, then he comes, enter the house. He said, I don't have father, I don't have mother, I do not know where to go. So please, give me a space in your house. I can do some menial service for you. In this way, entered into the Ekanath house. And every day, this Kandiya Krishna, he wakes up early morning. He goes, collect the woods, for the yagya, for the ceremony. Then he goes, collect the flowers, and he goes to the river, bring the water for puja, decorate everything he does. So he was doing all the thing. Krishna was doing all the work for Eknath. And there was a Brahmin, he went to Dwarka temple. This Brahmin go anywhere he can speak to the deity. And he went to this temple. When he's talking to the deity is not talking back to him. Then he was crying. He said, no, what wrong I did today that you're not talking to me? He said, look, I'm not here. I'm in Eknath's house. So immediately he comes to the Eknath house now. And when he was entering the Eknath house, there was one boy, he, taking the pots, he going to the river to take some water. Asked him, whether Eknath is in the house or not. He says, in the house. So the boy left. He came and sat, and then talking, he said, actually, is there anybody by the name of Kandiya Krishna in your house? That, because I went to Dwarka, I've been told that he's in your house. And in the conversation, they're talking. Then only he came to know the Lord himself personally has become a servant in his own house. And when they are talking, then Krishna entered, with the pot of water. He went to the puja room. Then Yakana says, oh, he's the boy. And they both go and see, Krishna disappears from there. So Eknath Mahan was crying, for your own puja. It is for your own puja, even you collected the river water from the rivers. For your own puja, you collected the flowers. It's for your own puja, you collected the woods, everything you did for your own puja. How much, you're very kind to your devotees. In this way, Eknath Mahan, he became a very great devotee. Just by one principle he was following, the toleration. And he was doing some, puja in the house, Pitru Puja. When somebody dies, you do some Pitru Puja for them. So he was, trying to arrange the Pitru Puja for, his forefathers. And so when you do the Pitru Puja, the food, you have to give it to some, Brahmana devotees after the puja. So before he gives out the, food for the Brahmana, there was, a lady, a poor old lady, she came. And then he gave the food to the lady first. So now the Brahmanas came to know that, before giving it to them, he has given to some low-class lady. But the Brahmana said, today we are not coming to take any food from your house. So then he was thinking, only for the completion, only for the success of the puja, he has to give the food to somebody. And nobody wants to come because he has given the food to that old lady. Then he was thinking like that, and Krishna personally, with Lord Brahma, he comes to the house. And he takes the food, where he has done the Pitru Puja. So in this way, somebody else is worshipping, as a rich fellow, he bought a deity and then worshipping in the house. The Lord appeared in his dream and then said, I'll be more happier. The Eknath house, please take me and give it to him. He can do the puja. In this way, Eknath Mahan, he writes a beautiful poem. Very beautiful poem he writes. Saguna Savitre Parama Pavitre Arechen Vannavid Sajana Brande Manobhave Aren Vannavid Sangu Sange Antarange Namo Bholave Kirtana Range Deva Sannitte Kore Kirtari. Beautifully he writes the poem. Says Saguna Savitre Parama Pavitra. You go to Krishna's temple. Saguna Murti. Beautiful qualities Krishna has got. Pavitram is very pure in the temple. So he says the devotees are coming to the temple. And he says you must know how to behave in that place. He says everybody are coming to see the Saguna Murti. And you as a devotee, you must know how to behave because everybody coming is also Vaishnava. When they are sitting and hearing, You cannot simply enter and push everybody want to go and see. Because when you're doing that, maybe your feet, may touch the body, become offense. They're not ordinary people, he says. Has been telling the Bhakti, Bhakta, and Bhagavan, they are not the product of the material world. The product of the spiritual world. They're coming here to assist Krishna to re-establish the process of dharma. So he said, when you're going like that, he said, your manobhav, sabuna savitre, arama pavitre, arichin vanna visajana bande, manobhave, you prepare your mind before you go. Sometimes, people, they fight in the house. They think, let me go to the house, maybe it's a bit peaceful. They fight there, and that anger, they come into the temple. Actually, there's some problem there. The same mindset, manobhav. He said, when you're going to places, any places, you get your mind, manobhav, ready for that environment. Like when you go for a wedding, somebody's wedding, you have to prepare your manobhav. Your mind must be ready to enter into that arena, that assembly of the wedding. Because there is going to be a jubilation. Everybody going to be very beautifully dressed. They're going to wear all the expensive ornaments, and they will come and stand in front of you, look at me and look at my beauty. It's a show off. Then you have to go to the funeral and prepare your mind, because you cannot go with this mindset. Look at me and look at my beauty. And you go, no ornaments, no expensive sari. Go very soon. As I told my mother's story, in the village, when everybody died, my mother go for the funeral. Not only she go there, she will sit and cry. So my friend told me, what is that? What's wrong with your mother? She's crying. And the whole village or relatives or what? So I go and tell my mother, you are making me laughing stock in front of my friend. You're crying everywhere. Every funeral you go, you cry. My mother said, don't speak like that. Then you go and see them, everybody crying. If I don't cry, what they'll think of me? It says that you get your mind ready for the environment you're moving. The manobhav, And when you're meeting the devotee, Sandhu Sange Andarange Namo Bholave, then you are not saying, oh, good evening, right? Hey, hello. No. Namo Bhole, you call them, like you go to Vrindavan, everywhere they're saying, hey, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. You go to Ayodhya, Sitaram, Lakshmana, Hanuman, then you go to Panduranga, so like that different places they, they receive you with a different, calling. So he said, when you meet a devotee, like we called, Haribol Prabhu, so we understand when you call somebody as a Prabhu, it's a master, in the name of Haribol, has become your master, but don't treat them like a slave. So he said that you address, among each other in the name of God. That will keep your mindset, suitable for the atmosphere for you to go into the, subject matter. Then he says, Sandhu Sange Antarange Namo Bola Kirtanrange Deva Sannitte Sukham Dhulave. Then he says, Prema, that anyway you go into that environment, then you have to go into the three things, Only you go for attaining love, vairagyam, and knowledge. Bhakti, Jnanam, Vairagyam. You're going to that place to see the Saguna Murti, then you're in the association of the devotees. Then he says that, you go there, you have to observe whether in that place they are doing things Bhakti, Jnanam, Vairagyam. If they are doing some bhajan, if they are doing some pravachan, they are doing something, but it's only they are talking about the bhakti love, but they are doing it without knowledge, doing it without vairagya. Even the bhakti seems to be they're singing very nicely, they're talking very nicely, but there is no bhakti jnana vairagyam. If their activities are not accompanied by knowledge and vairagya, it said, even playfully don't go and join in that organization. You know, they're singing, they're professionally trying to do everything, impress everybody in the name of love, but they don't have a knowledge what to do with that thing. And he said, Akanda Bhajan. He said, when you do the Akanda Bhajan, you sit and do your bhajan. He says, your mind, your words, your body should be all one pointed attention. It's not your mind thinking something else, and your mouth is talking something else, and your body is doing something else. I mean, we're doing Kartavya. The words we're singing Hare Krishna, we are going on, and the mind is already thinking something else. He says, if this is happening in your bhajan, you're not going to get, that much of benefits, with this kind of, environment association. So he said to us, to properly choose the satsanga, devotee association. And that satsanga should be, accompanied by bhakti, jnanam, and vairagya. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met, Sanatan Goswami in Ramakhet, and after that, again, Sanatan Goswami, escaped from Ramakeli, from the prison, and then he came to Varanasi to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because he was long distance, he's walking and coming of months, then he has grown, his beard, he looks totally different. Then when he came to Varanasi, he heard that Mahaprabhu is in the Chandrasekhar's house. So then he came standing outside, and Mahaprabhu told Chandrasekhar, there's a great Vaishnava has come. Bring him inside. Chandrasekhar came and saw that, normally Vaishnava means he must have a tilak, he must have a neck beads, he must have, the dress coat, Somewhere or other, some external symbol of a Vaishnava must be there. But yeah, he did not have any of that, symbol of a Vaishnava. There are two kinds of Vaishnava, Abhyantaram, Bhavyam. Abhyantaram is that, this Vaishnava, he has got, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagyam. Inside is a devotee. Outside he may not be seen like a devotee. But there is Bhavyam that, outside they look like devotee. They got, they got everything. But inside they don't have Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya. So like that many in India. So that is why Prabhupada went to America, at least to create, Abhyantaram, the inner devotees who they have got Bhakti, Jnanam, and Vairagyam. So when Chandrasekhar came and saw outside, you don't see any Vaishnava here. He saw like, a Muslim mendicant is sitting out there with the long beard and everything. So he went and told Mahaprabhu, no, I don't see any Vaishnava there. Mahaprabhu said, no, you go back and see, that's a Vaishnava. A very wonderful, great Vaishnava standing there. He came out again. Then he saw that again. Then he went and told Mahaprabhu, I only see, a Muslim mendicant standing outside there. Mahaprabhu personally came out, and then he was, going after Sanatan Goswami, you want to hug him. Then Sanatan said, don't do that, He says, I'm very low class, I'm not qualified, Then Mahaprabhu said, do not speak like that. He said, Aksino palam twadrisam darshanam akshinam palam twadrasitam gatar sangam aksinam palam twadrasinam kirtanam se sudhullabam bhakta tiloke. Mahaprabhu said that, Vaishnava is not to be seen in that manner. Aksinam palam twadrasinam darshanam means, he said, the perfection of eyes. Your eyes perfection. He said, you see the Vaishnava, there's a perfection of eyes. If glory is the Vaishnava, speak the glories of Vaishnava, there is a perfection of your speech, and touching the body of a Vaishnava, there is a perfection of, your skin. So in this way, he says that Sudullabam Bhagavatam Iloke. It's very rarely you see a Vaishnava in that manner. And he said he's a very great devotee. And Mahaprabhu told Sanatan Goswami, Bhava Vidat Bhagavatam. He said that, the verse, he quoted for Yudhishthira. He told about Vidura. Bhavad-vida Bhagavata Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibhu Tirtha Tirti Kurvanti Tirthane Swenta Swana Gantam Prabhu. He says that, just by the devotees are the holy places of pilgrimage. Because they carry Krishna is all the way, in your mind all the time. And even, pilgrimage places become purified by the, appearance of the devotees. And he told that, Name Bhakta Chaturvedi Mad Bhakta Sangha Sang Varjati. He says that, my dear Sanatan Goswami, Krishna have mentioned that, even somebody have studied all the Vedas, philosophy in their life. But if they are not a devotee of Krishna, and nobody will be benefiting, by that kind of association. And he says that, even somebody born in, dog-eating family, if they have become a devotee of the Lord, that benefits everybody in the world. And then because, they have become a devotee, and because they perform the pure devotional service unto the Lord, they are no longer the subject of this material world. So when you perform a pure devotional service, we have to understand, it's not we are just, bhavyam. Externally, we got everything like a devotee of the Lord. But internally, we are not developing. So Mahaprabhu told, Sanatan Goswami that by performing pure devotional service unto the Lord favorably, somebody becomes very dear to Krishna. We spoke a little bit about it yesterday. We are doing a lot of things in our life in Krishna consciousness. Importantly, we have to check whether Krishna likes the way we are doing things in Krishna consciousness. Whether you are doing it with Bhakti, Jnana, and Vairagya. So in the chapter 12, 13, 14 onward, Krishna explains the kinds of devotees are very dear to him. Advistam sarva bhutanam maitra karuna ivacha nirmamo nir ahankara samadukha sukha same santutam satatam yogi yatat madra dhanischaya mayarpita mano buddhi yo me bhakta samit priya. A person who is not envious of anyone, but friendly to all living beings. Krishna says is very dear to me. A person who did not, claim false proprietorship of the world, very dear to me. A person who is free from false ego, very dear to me. A person who treats enemy and friend similarly is very dear to me. A person who is very tolerant is very dear to me. A person who is, satisfied in their life is very dear to me. A person who is self-controlled is very dear to me. A person who, with great determination is moving on his, devotional life, very dear to me. A person who has fixed his intelligence in me, Krishna says, they're very dear to me. So you have to go back to recheck again, whether are we becoming a dear devotee of Krishna, or are we becoming a devotee like Kamsa? So Kamsa is very careful. 24 hours he's thinking about Krishna. Eating, sleeping, walking, every time he's thinking of Krishna. But of course, Krishna gave him liberation. So whoever comes to Krishna, whoever gets killed, by Krishna, they get liberation. But here, unfavorably, they've been doing Krishna consciousness. Yeah. But Krishna consciousness to be favorably to conduct Anya Bilasita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavratam Anukulyena Krishna Anusilanam Bhakti Uttamam. Anukulya means favorably, the way Krishna wants you to act for his pleasure. So in this way that as a devotee to become very pure. Why Krishna says that Name Bhakta Chaturvedi, even you read the 4 Vedas here, you're not considered beneficial to the world unless you become a devotee. And what is the qualification? He said is that because they perform pure devotional service for Krishna. So we have to recheck again whether are we performing a devotional service favorably for the pleasure of Krishna. And here Krishna has said, these are the way. Then number one, become free from envious mentally. Just because of the jealousy, enviousness, we've been thrown out from the abode of the Lord and come to this miserable Auckland world. As the first reason. Somewhere we are thinking, why Krishna only has to be boss? I wanted to be also become boss. In our own way, we are boss. And when you are in the house, you are boss. When you go where your boss, your wife is the boss. And go to the workplace, that is the boss. When you go to the house, now the wife is the boss on the other side. And to all these parents, nobody, you're fighting, you're talking so many things. And children think I'm the boss. No, you cannot be corrected. See, that's why they get married. Because you cannot be corrected. A mother think getting married. At least the wife will correct you. And the wife family, the girl family, they think the same way. This girl is not listening to me. Let them get married. That's why we correct it. And these people come together and they cannot be corrected. And they take the child is gone. The child will try to correct it. No. Basically, there is no love, there is no knowledge, there is no detachment, vairagya in their life. So Krishna says that number one, give up the envious. And number two is that be friendly to all living beings. And number three is that, give up the false, claim of proprietorship in the world. You come to the world zero, you go back zero, nothing. We are too busy to gain something which is not going to come with us at the end of our journey. Then there was a Christian father, he was asking donation in the church. Why? Because he said, our church, we got, a graveyard here and it's without fencing. So he said, no, I'm raising money to put a fencing around the graveyard of Christian church. Then everybody was giving, but not enough. There was one rich man, he himself can sponsor the whole fencing for the Christian graveyard, but he's not even giving a single cent. So the priest, the father, he knows this guy, it's my congregation, he got all the money. Every poor devotees are giving, but he's not giving a single cent. He went to him, I'm asking for donation, but you're very rich, you're not giving anything. Why? So the rich man asked him, Father, what are you asking donation for? What for? He said, look at the graveyard, it's our graveyard, Christian graveyard, but no fencing there. So I need money to make the fencing. So the rich man said, can I ask you one question? Yeah, what is that? Father, is there anybody from inside going to run out? Father said, no. And is there anybody from outside like to come inside? He said, no. So nobody from inside is going to run out. That is the situation in the world. We come here zero, we live zero, but in between, we are fighting for something which is not belongs to us. So Krishna says, give up this false claim of this proprietorship in your life. And let ahankara, give up your false ego. And then equipose with enemy and friend. We have not come to the world to make friends. You have not come to the world to make enemy. You have come only for one purpose, how to revive your Krishna consciousness and go back to Krishna. You come anywhere in the organization, to anywhere, you must understand, I come here not to make friends in the organization. I'm not come here to make any enemies in the organization. I got the greatest mission in my life, how to revive my Krishna consciousness. For that, I need a platform to revive Krishna consciousness. So the wonderful platform is given here. So why should we bother about, making friends and enemy here? In this way, Krishna says, equipose of friend and enemy. Always think that you got a mission in your life. You got a goal in your life. Focus into your goal of life. Then he said that to do that thing, you must have a tolerance. Be tolerant. And that he said you must have self-control. And he said that, you must, satisfied with whatever you are getting in. Then he says that, with great determination, you work on the devotional life. And he said that your intelligence must be fixed into the goal of attaining Krishna. He said, these are the devotees are very dear to me. Yes, yasmano vijate loko, lokano vijate saya arsamarsa bayadvage, muktoya chame priya. He said that, now, these kind of devotees who now becoming very dear to Krishna, he said they do not put anybody into any trouble because they are devotees. They see everybody as a devotee. Then don't give trouble to another person. And even some trouble come to them and they are not, affected by the trouble because they got a mission in their life. We come here only for this. Like you go to a wedding. Are you there to correct, something is not right happening there? Anyway, we go like we come to the house, we see something, oh, that shouldn't be there. Take the sofa and put it on the other side. The TV shouldn't be here. The moment you interfere, then you are in a great trouble. So like that, Krishna said that, a devotee, he said, a devotee who's not putting anybody else into trouble is very dear to me. And even some trouble comes into his life, he's not affected, it's very dear to me. And a devotee who's in happiness, in happiness, in distress, in fear, anxiety, if he's equiposed, he's not disturbed by this thing. He said, they're very dear to me. Anapeksa suti daksa gata gata udasina gata vyata sarvaramba parityogi yoma bhakti samipriya. And beautifully he said, that anapeksa suchi daksha, that the devotee is that, they are very pure, very expert. And then they are not worried about, their, life platform. And they are, never feel any pain in their life. And they're not striving for some result into their action. And he says, all these devotees are very dear to me. Yona arisyasi dvosti nasvachati nakansati subha subha parit yogi yomar bhakti samipriya. That, a person who does not rejoice or grief, a person who does not, affected by honor and dishonor, a person who are not lamenting and not, anchoring. He says a person who's, give up the auspicious and inauspicious thing in their life. He said they're very dear to me. Sama satra cha mitre cha tadamana pamana yositosna supadukesu. Sama sanga vivarjita tulyaninda sita mauni santuta yena kena chit. Aniketan siramate bhaktiman me priyo nara sama satra cha mitre cha. He said with, enemy and friend, a person who's free, who is equiposed, they're very dear to me. A person in happiness and distress, equiposed, they're very dear to me. A person, gain and loss, they're equiposed, very dear to me. A person in honor and dishonor, very, equiposed, very dear to me. A person, fame and infamy, equiposed, they're very dear to me. A person, who come out from the, contaminated association. There are people in the world, we should not mix with them. The association, is not going to give a lot of other trouble in our life. We call it a non-devotee association. Somebody very contaminated. They are not working towards bhakti, jnana, and vairagyam. Krishna said, when, you disconnect yourself in that association, he said, they're very dear to me. And a person whose knowledge is fixed in Krishna consciousness, he said, they're very dear to me. And finally, he says, 12:20, Yetu dharmam amritamidam yadoktam paryupasate sudhadana mat parama bhaktaste tivame priya. And he said, these devotees are very, 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 very dear to me. A person, who, involved, in the imperishable path of Krishna consciousness with great determination and with great faith and making me the supreme goal of their life. Krishna said these devotees are very, 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 very great. So we are wanted to become a devotee. That's why I think we have come to ISKCON Krishna conscious movement. Why? Because somewhere or other that will be a great opportunity for us to develop that bhakti, jnanam, vairagyam. That will give a greatest benefit even in my own personal journey of life in the world. Without love, that will be so much of frustration coming in. And without knowledge, that will be so much of mistake could be coming into my life. Without detachment, there will be so much of miseries I have to go through. So somewhere the Krishna is there to help me to free from all these miseries of life. And only way is that, connect to Krishna through bhakti, jnana, vairagyam. So Krishna says, when a person making him as the supreme goal of life, he said, they are very, 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 very dear to me. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking with Sanatana Goswami, he told him that Vaishnava means he has got 26 qualities. He mentioned this quality: Kripalu, Akirta Droha, Satya Sara, Sama, Nidosa, Vadanyaya, Murdu Suchi, Akinchana, Sarva Pataraka, Santa, Krishna Kicharana, Akama, Aniya, Stira, Vijita Sadguna, Metabuk, Apramat, Manada, Amani, Gambira, Karuna, Maitra, Kavi, Daksha, Mauni. Mauni is the last one, is silence. He got all this wonderful quality in himself. Kripalu means, is very kind. Akirta Droha, he does not waste his time in argument and fight. Sati Sara is very honest. Sama is equipos. Nidosa, there is no fault you can find on him. Vadanyaya is very magnanimous. Mridu Suchi Akinchana, Mridu is very mild. Akinchana is very simple. Mridu Suchi is very clean. Sarvopakara Santa Krishna Kicharana. Sarvopakara, he performed welfare work. The thing about the betterment of the world and perform welfare work for everybody. Santa is very peaceful. Krishna Kicharana is surrendered to Krishna. Kirpala Akirta Dosati Sarasama Nidosa Vadanya Murdu Sucha Kinchana. Sarvopakara Santa Krishna Kicharana. Akama Aniya Stira. Akama, he hasn't got any desire. Aniya, is very, is not, subject to the material ways of life. Vijita Sadguna is able to control, the six back quality. Metabuk, each, what is required for the body. Apramata Manada. Apramata, is, free from mental torture, mental reaction. Like Pramata means crazy. Apramata means, is not crazy. Mridu Sucha Kina Sarvopaka Krishna. Akamanya Sira Vijita Saguna. Sira means, is determined. Vijita Saguna. Metabuk Apramana da Amani Gambira. Is very respectful to everybody. Manada Amani does not expect that people will be respecting him. Gambira is very great. Manada Amani Gambira. Kripalu Akirta Droha Satya Sarasama Nidosa Vananya Murdu Sucha Kinchana Sarvopakara Santa Krishna Kichara Akama Aniya Stira Vijita Silgura Metabuk Apramat Manada Amani Gambira. Karuna Maitra Kavi. Karuna is very merciful. Maitra is very friendly to everybody. Karuna Maitra Kavi. And is a poet. When he speaks, people like to hear. Sometimes somebody talks, you want to run away from it because they are scared. You may end up in some sort of trouble here. And Daksha Mauni, Daksha is very expert. Anything he can do for Krishna, very expert. And Mauni, with all this wonderful quality has got in himself, is a Vaishnava. Mahaprabhu says he's very Mauni, he's very silent. He doesn't show up that he knows all this. He's very, very humble, not talking, very silent. There was one devotee of Lord Ram, and in the house he was reading Ramayana and chanting, Ram's name. And suddenly again, then he got, parrot in the house. It's in the cage. And he's reading Ramayana. Anybody, chant the name of Ramayana, hear the, story of Ram, they will be delivered from the prison house of this material world. So reading. Then, the parrot hearing and hearing and hearing. Oh, if I say Ram's name, I'm out from the prison. The parrot also singing. Ramajayam Sri Ramajayam, Ramajayam Sri Ramajayam, Ramajayam Sri, they were chanting Ram, 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 Ram. Sagala Jivasam Rakshakaram, Samastaloka Janakaram, Rama Ramajaya Rajaram, Rama Ramajaya Sitaram. Sarvaloka, all the planets can be delivered by the mercy of Ram. The bird also, parrot was singing Ram's name, and this way every day reading, but the parrot is still in the cage. And one day he told the parrot that I'm going away for 3 days, because there's one Swamiji coming to speak Ramayana for 48 days, I'm going there. So he said, no, 3 days I'll come back, don't worry. Is there anything? Then the parrot said, okay, you go and ask the Swamiji. He's going to speak about Ramayana. You're going to ask him that I'm chanting Ram's name, but Ramayana says if I chant Ram's name, I'll be out from the prison of this world, but I'm still, caught into the prison of your cage. Ask Ram when I will be getting my liberation out from this prison. So he went there. After 3 days, he came back, and then he asked, the parrot asked him, so, did you ask the Swamiji? And he said that, yes, I went and saw the Swamiji, asked the Swamiji that, the parrot in the cage is chanting Ram's name, but the parrot is asking when he's going to get his liberation out from the cage. But the Swamiji did not answer. The second day, I go and ask him. Third day, go so many times ask the Swamiji, but the Swamiji is very silent. He did not answer to your question. And immediately the parrot collapsed, unconscious. Because, Swamiji did not answer. Don't know what to do. And the man took out the parrot from the cage, put it on the floor, unconscious. Put it on the floor, he started to cry. And he asked, what's happening here? The parrot said, one of the qualities of Vaishnava, you did not mention. So from the Swamiji, 3 days silent, understand. Available freedom. So we have to understand that, it's very, Krishna consciousness is very simple and very easy. Somewhere or other, there are people are complicating the whole process. Like Krishna says, Puriyamanam Achala Pratistam is only if you remain as what you are, you cross over the cycle of repeated birth and death. Vihaya Kaman, Yasarvan, Om Charantin Nispraha, Nirmamonin Ahankara, Santi Madhikachit in that chapter 270, 271. 271, Krishna said, the moment you give up, your desire for the sense gratification of the world, Nirmamo Nir Ahankara, give up the proprietorship in your life. And Nir Ahankara, give up your false ego. He says, Santi Madhikachiti. He said, you will attain that Santi in your life. Isa Sita Brahmasi. Then again, Krishna continues, he says that, this is the way of, Krishna consciousness. The moment, you can follow this Krishna consciousness, with this manner, it's a antakalesi. At the end of your life, you will be entering into my kingdom. So in this way that, we are coming to understand the subject matter. The knowledge is very important. And to gain the knowledge, you must go to a guru, a spiritual master who can give you the knowledge. Because that one person association is very, very important in your life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, Krishna, Bhakti Janmamola, Ayasadu Sangha, Krishna Prema, Janmaten Ho, Aya Mukya Hanga. He says that in the Bhakti devotional part, the Mukya Hanga, the important limbs of Bhakti, is that you are remaining, you are going into the association of a devotee. That is the birthplace of your Krishna consciousness. The birthplace of Krishna consciousness, somewhere or other, we have to be connected with somewhere, some devotee, that they can help us to revive our Krishna consciousness. That is why the Shastra says that in the three Sampradaya, they will say Dasa Vaishnava. Vaishnava means just by one, not by one quality, Dasa Vaishnava. That means you must have 10 qualities, they said. Number one is that Advishta. First thing, you want to be a devotee, give up your enviousness. Main thing is that they must give up. And number two, Anukulyam, that you're friendly, Anukulya, happy way you go around with the people. And number three, Tirunamadhari. That now you take a name of Krishna. With the meeting of a guru, that he gives you one of the name of Krishna for you. Tirunamadhari. Number four, Sangaragi. Now you decorate your body with tilaks. And number five is a mandira party. With now you chant the mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And number six, Vaishnava means, is able to control, his senses. And knowledge acquiring senses, able to control all these things. Number seven is a Sri Vaishnava. That means you don't just worship Krishna alone. Worship, like Lakshmi worship Narayana, like, we worship, Krishna with, Radharani, like, Sitaram, like that he says, you worship, Radha and Krishna. And number eight is that, he says that, Prabandhi. Prabandhi means now you are thinking, okay, you are coming now. Prabandhi, now okay, now let me follow the principle of Krishna consciousness. The principle of surrender. Anukulyasya, Sankalpa, Pritikulyasya, Varjanam. There are 6 principles are there. That whatever favorable in Krishna consciousness you accept, whatever unfavorable you reject, and you take Krishna as your master, and you take Krishna as your protector, and always remain, humble in your life. And number 6, try to, come to the point, try to give yourself to Krishna. This is, Prabandhi that now you understand. Giving up, enviousness is not that easy. You understand to be, friendly, happily move around with everybody is not that easy. You understand that, go to a guru and take a, name and all is not that easy. And then you understand that, putting a tilak and walk around is not that easy. Then you understand that, chanting Hare Krishna is not that easy. Then you understand, control the senses is not easy. And understand worship Radha Krishna is not easy. Then you understand now, Prabandhi, that, follow the principle, the surrender, process of surrender he found, that also not easy. Then he comes in the 9th, he comes to Ekhanti. Then he think, it's so difficult to follow all these, rules and regulation, everything. Better I catch the lotus feet of Krishna. Don't worry about all other, philosophy, just all the lotus feet of Krishna, Ekhanti. Then he thinks, that's not easy to hold the lotus feet of Krishna. I should become a Parama Ekhanti. It's more easy to catch somebody's feet, which already catching the feet of Lord Krishna. That guy is already catch the lotus feet. Let me go and catch his feet. It's more easy for me to enter. So he go Parama Ekhanti. Finally, he finds somebody, and then he takes shelter of that person. And through that, you will see that Vaishnava means, there is a process that, Vaishnava means he cannot become a Vaishnava unless, he serve another Vaishnava. In the story of, Tirumangai Alva, he built a beautiful temple in Sri Rangam. He was a tax collector in the government. He was going around and collecting tax. His name is Nila at that time. Collecting tax and all. While collecting tax, one day he saw, in the first floor, one beautiful girl was standing there. Her name is Kumadavalli. And then he looked at the girl. He really liked that girl. And then he decided he wants to marry her. Because he's a very big and stout, he's, government, tax collector. That means he must know. how rough and rude these people can be. And look at that girl, Kumadavali. He thought, I must marry the girl. Immediately, when I entered the house, he approached the father of the girl. I want to marry the girl. The father also cannot say anything because this guy is big and strong, Who's going to fight with this guy? He said, you want to marry the girl, you go and talk to the girl. So he went to the girl. I want to marry you. She said, I'll marry you, no problem, but there's only one condition. What is that? You should become a Vaishnava. And oh, no, there's no problem. You go to the temple. There's a lot of Vaishnava. They will tell you how to become Vaishnava. Go. Become Vaishnava, you can marry me. So he went to the temple. Then he went to the priest, Then he was rushing because he wanted to marry the girl immediately. I go and catch all the priests, No, you tell me how to become Vaishnava. And the priest says, look, come down, Titik Shava, Karun. He said, not talking like that, I have no time for this thing. I want to become Vaishnava. So he told this, priest, teach me how to become Vaishnava. The priest saw that this guy is not ready for any education. So you put him a tilak, put a neck brace, and give him a chanting back, okay, And he come back to the girl, said, I'm a Vaishnava. And she said, she laughs at him, look, this is not the way to become. You cannot become a Vaishnava unless you become a servant of another Vaishnava. Gopi Bhattu Padakamariyo, Dasa, you must go into the service attitude. Then only it can be done. So how to do? You tell me, because the priests are not teaching me. And the girls are very easy. 3 things, she said. The Shastra said, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Kalidas in Jagannath Puri, Kalidas was waiting every day, Mahaprabhu entering the temple, Jagannath Puri temple, and he washed his lotus feet, and Kalidas standing, sitting there, open his both palms, then Mahaprabhu take his feet and then wash, then he brings the water. Mahaprabhu told him, no, Bhakta Pada, Duliyara, Bhakta Pada Jala, Bhakta Bhukta Avasisa, Mahatina Phala. He said, my dear Kalidas, now I'll tell you today, by 3 service, you'll go back to the Lord's planet. One is that by taking the dust, from the feet of a Vaishnava. Another one by taking the prasadam leftover Vaishnava. And number 3rd is that by drinking the water, wash the feet of Vaishnava. If you can do these 3 things, and I said, the Vaikuntha is open for you. So Kumadavali told him, very easy to become a Vaishnava. You're not about putting tilak, all those things. I don't believe in these things. I'll tell you another thing. You go to Vaishnava, you wash their feet. Before wash their feet, you take the dust and apply it on your body, then wash their feet, and then cook food and give them the food. But don't let them to finish all the food. Take a little bit back. These 3 things you do for 1 year. And you're perfected, you come in, I'll marry you. So he goes around, he goes and asks, Vaishnava, Prabhu, please come. Please sit down. From your feet. Is there anybody going to do that? Anybody asks Maharaj, show your feet. The moment I show my feet is already in the YouTube and the Facebook, Maharaj goes there, show his feet for watching, so all this thing. And a big trouble really. No Vaishnavas were agreeing this. To take the dust from their feet, wash their feet, and take, Mahaprasadam from their plate. Nobody is agreeing. But only way you can marry the girl when you do this thing. So he thought, use the force. So he catch the Vaishnava. And he put them and tied them. And then, show me your feet. Take the dust, drink the water, go and cook nice food. Then take a little bit back, eat it. So then slowly he became attached to the service. Some changes he could see himself. Then he catch another Vaishnava. More service, very nice. More lotus, wash. Like this, he has got already, thousands of, sadhus all set and then tied on the rope, Then now it needs lots of money to do this service. But you have to go and buy all these vegetables, to rice, everything up to cook and then feed everybody. Then he was using the money from the tax collecting, you know. And at one point, the government took him and put him in the prison. And Krishna has to come to settle this plus money, you know. So in this way, he married the girl. Then married the girl, both are devotees, you know. And they were thinking, you know, now Ranganath, you know, he don't have a temple there, a small hut only. So he was thinking, now we should be husband and wife sitting and talking. Only by the Ranganath Masjid, we came together, husband and wife. So we must do something for Ranganath. What to do? Oh, you look at all these people, all got big, big houses. And our master, Supreme Lord, he has no house. We must be one nice house for him. So what? Okay, go for donation. But they go houses now, Prabhuji, some donation. What? What donation? Go. Everybody chasing them. So they don't know how to collect the donation and do. And again, he thought, it's a force. You know? Then he thought, only way, you're going to get 4 different people. One guy is very expert to open any, you know, lock. He got it. Any lock, you know, without key, he can open up. Another one is that, you know, just by standing, you know, on your shadow, you cannot move. He got excellent. And another fella is that, you know, that just by talking, mesmerize you. You forget about yourself. You go and stay. So the last fella, he can walk on the water. You got these 4 people as the disciple, bring them in, make them disciples. They go and collect money now. They go and rob the houses, rob the rich people everywhere. You know, any lock they can open. Everything they go. In this way, they are putting money, you know, bringing money, they're building. If you go to Ranganath temple, you know, beautiful, bigger temple, South India, you know, other than the Madurai temple, you know. So now, in this way, he was collecting. Almost the construction is going over. But you need little bit donation to put the Gopuram, you know, what do you call the Gopuram? Kalash, you know, and that it needs money. You know, that is a bit expensive there. So he was going, what to do then? You know that, you know, in another place, you know, near Kanchipuram, there was one Lord Buddha's temple is there. They got a big Buddha statue with, you know, all gold, you know. They thought, only way, go, you know, take the gold from Buddha. And it goes there. And then, you know, they have installed Buddha, gold, you know, Buddha in a way that nobody can take, you know, there's an alarm system was there already. If you remove, you know, little bit removing, you know, the alarm will be ringing. So they would not know how to do. Then he was thinking, now, you know, somehow I got to do. Then he speaks to Lord Buddha. He said, Buddha, my master is sitting there without a house. And here you are sitting with gold. And do you need the gold? You know, or you cannot be made by Buddha. You cannot be made by stone. You know, and you left, you know, your palace, everything. You know, because you don't want any of this thing. And the foolish people go and make you with gold. You can't. I want to take you from my master. Then the gold melted and he came and followed me. You know, in this way he came and finally, you know, he need very little money to finish. What to do. He was going around and then he met Lakshmi Narayan. The Lord himself want to help him now. He come with his wife, the newly married couple, they come in. That means Sri Lakshmi got all the ornaments, rings, you know, every jewel, everything was there. Then he look at them. He said, the last final, you know, we have to rob them. You know, with this thing, we will finish our project. So you go, you know, tell them, you take out all your necklace and all your, you know, ornaments and everything. And the Lord says, no, we cannot take out. He said, no, but take it. It's all meant for master. And Krishna says, no, Narayan says, if you want to take out for yourself. So he pulled everything, you know, from Lakshmi, from, you know, Krishna and everything. And finally there was, you know, the Indian, they were small, you know, what do you call that? Touring. So that, you know, when they get married, you know, so that was there. And then he was trying to pull out, you know, and it's not coming out. You know, the Lord's, you know, finger was, then he go and bite him. And when he is, you know, mouth touched the lotus feet of the Lord, and he was enlightened. beautiful, he was enlightened. Then, he was thinking, he or totally become enlightened. And anyway, he thought, it's getting late, he has to go and finish the project. And he put in the bag, he wants to carry all the jewelries and everything, but he's not able to carry. Not able to carry. Then he goes back to Krishna again. Better tell me the mantra. What mantra you use that I'm not able to carry this? What mantra you use that I'm not able? Tell me the mantra. Then Krishna Narayan goes into the Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. So he was uttered the name of and immediately picked up the jewelry, then finish up the project. But make it very short for you. So in this way that we have to understand a Vaishnava means that he has to become a servant of another Vaishnava. There are Ajnanam there are Samsayam there. I know Anabhayam is there. There are three kinds of Ajnanam is that you don't have a knowledge about something, ignorant. Samsayam that you got some knowledge but you're quite doubtful whether that is true or not. Anabhayam is that that you understood but you have wrongly understood. But certain thing you don't have knowledge. That is one part of your life. Another thing, you got some knowledge, but you're a bit doubtful. Like from here you see there's a big tree standing, but you're thinking maybe somebody's standing there. You're a little bit doubtful, And the third is that you are seeing a rose, that you're seeing the rose, but then you're thinking maybe it's a lotus. So within the flow, the object itself changes here in your. So the Shastra says when you got this kind of, every human being have got this kind of shortcomings in their life, and they should be enlightened with the knowledge. And for that reason, he has to go to another Vaishnava to get the knowledge from them. So in this way that, in our life, we have to understand that Vaishnava will play a very important role in our life. Beautifully, the Shastra says that, rainwater falling from the sky. When you open your palm, you can drink the water. It's clean and pure. When the same water, falls in the gutter of your house, you cannot drink the water now. It can be used to wash your, shoe or something. But the same water, when it falls in the ground, become muddy, even cannot be used to wash your, shoe. And the same water, when it falls on the lotus leaf, it shines like pearls. And then in some nachitra, special time, some nachitra is shining. At that time, the rainwater falls into the sea and goes into the oyster. And then the water itself becomes a pearl. See, in this way that, it's all again comes back to your association. Purusa prakriti stohi, bhungte prakriti jangunam karana guna sangasya satasat yoni chandas. Good and bad comes in your life through your association. Good association brings in good, result in your life. Bad brings in bad result. So according to association, like the rainwater, accordingly falling in different places, brings in different kinds of atmosphere. But it directly falls into the oyster. The pearls itself, comes out from there. Similarly, when you're falling in the association of a very pure Vaishnava, pure Vaishnavas is what? And you go back to the 12th chapter, text 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That you become a very dear devotee of Krishna. There was a king, he was announcing, okay, he calls all the sannyasi because his daughter wants to marry one of the devotees. So he calls all the sannyasi to come. So everybody was sitting there. He was announced, then all the Swamiji, in the town, please come. My daughter, I got a friend, she only wants to marry a Swamiji. So all the Swamiji, they came because the king is calling. And within that, that one fellow is a thief, and I was thinking, let me put a dress of a sannyasi. Then, then the daughter came, then the king announced that, my daughter, wants to marry a Swamiji. And, so he goes to Swamiji. So, would you like to marry my daughter? He said, no. I'm done of that. I'm a sannyasi. Another sannyasi goes, then he said, you know what, I renounce everything to marry a doctor. Because everybody go. And then now comes the thief's turn. Then the king asked, no, do you like to marry my daughter? But actually he came for that one only. Do you like to marry my daughter? Then he said, okay, you think what, I'm that stupid. I want all the Swami in front of me. The emperor all clever, they don't any, they all gone ready. You think what, I'm going to marry your daughter, I'm also going. So in this way, sadhu sangha, sarva sastra matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi ho. All perfection in your life will attain by association of sadhu. Now, they can give you bhakti, jnanam, vairagya. Now, you know what is bhakti means. That cannot be a blind love with anybody. It has to be accompanied by knowledge and detachment. Now the knowledge is so important in this place. And how to, properly act, that means you become a servant of another Vaishnava. Knowledgeable way, you do everything in Krishna consciousness, even whether you're doing puja, whether you're singing bhajan, whatever you're doing, it has to be done in a very knowledgeable way. What is that knowledgeable way? Is that only for the ultimate pleasure of Krishna, nothing else, no selfish interest here. And then now we'll go tomorrow to the Bhagavan, that will bring in a great detachment in your life. Bhagavan ultimately will solve all these problems. So we'll do it tomorrow. And anybody got any questions, any comments? So we have to forcefully tide all of you today.
Mauni.
Eh?
Mauni, all become Mauni.
Mauni, all become Mauni. Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yeah, that is a very subject to be for debate. Somebody who have debated on that subject is no longer staying in the organization. So I don't want to go into that subject because we are in the organization. An organization has given us some clarification how we have come that through our minute independence. The minute independence was there all the time. And again, it's an arrangement of Krishna to educate the people in the world. It's a Krishna Leela. Krishna enjoys, varieties, all these actions are going on. So some party, they said we have not fallen from Vaikuntha. But, ISKCON, we have got our understanding. We are from Vaikuntha. So happily take prasadam and let us move on with, go back to Vaikuntha. That's our goal. Prabhupada says, that somebody fall in the, ocean, he is drowning, then you put him, take him out from, and then he's drawn, he's in a great, his mind is not, really ready for the explanation. So when you go back, you'll understand what happened. It's like a dream. Prabhupada says, like a dream. You just wake up there, you are there already. Like, we have a dream, tiger coming, all those things. But wake up, there's no tiger, no nothing. So when you go back there, you'll understand there's no upland. There is no anybody like Krishna Chandra there. Or Sripati. Oh, the bad guy, Rasaparyana. Oh, the sannyasi Bhakti Mukunda Swami. Nobody there. It was just a bad. It was so bad. I went there and everybody fighting. Yeah, I thought they'll be very peaceful there, but all are fighting. Somebody fighting without a tilak, somebody fighting with a tilak, but everybody is fighting. I had a bad dream, so happy. Let's see. So only when we go back, if I go back and come back and go back, I can let you know. There is no answer for all the questions, Prabhu. Bhakti Parasanubhava Bhakti, beautifully it says, in the Canto 11, chapter 2, text 43, I think, 42 or 43, that, when you do a proper, pure bhakti, it's like eating food, your hunger is, satisfied, and the nourishment you have enjoyed, and you find the satisfaction, finally, okay, that's enough. So when you properly follow Bhakti, Jnanam, Vairagyam, then totally this information will be revealed to you. And those being revealed, they won't be able to explain to you because you don't trust them. So that is the thing. Because our limitation is within, Auckland, New Zealand, India, or Russia, somewhere within this thing only we know. Beyond this thing, we are not able to know. That, normally that's what, if your mind, your words, your body are totally engaged in Krishna, you're totally liberated person in the world. You're able to understand when you come to that platform. So when you are liberated, you talk to non-liberated people, they will not understand the language you're talking. That's why the Shastra says the speaker must be qualified, the listener also must be qualified. If the speaker mood is spiritual, but the listener, the audience mood are material, it doesn't go together. Like I'm talking how to go back to Vaikunta. The audience are thinking, how to stay in Auckland with no time. And we are talking, go back Vaikunta will be very happy, but who's ready to go back? You tell me, Prabhu. Anybody here? Okay, I'm going to ask you. Anybody here today? Krishna is coming with the chariot. He comes and tells, Raghuveer Prabhu, get in the chariot. Raja Brayana, come in. Definitely, Raj, where we are going. He said, we are going to Vaikunta. Then he will say, how about my house? How about my wife? How about my children? No, I got still some work to do here. Practically, when somebody comes to take us today, we are not ready. True or not? Is anybody ready? Karama Prabhu. He said, okay, Krishna, Karama Prabhu, come, we go Vaikunta. He said, how about my wife and 2 kids? They're not coming, they're not coming. Only you're coming. Will he cry or not? Huh? Like a Tukaram was flying, the wife is crying on the other side. She will cry also. Oh, you can leave me alone and go. And the children also crying, then you will call them, okay, all come sit in the back. The children say, I'm not coming, I have to finish my university. I've not seen anything, I've seen everything, you go first. It's big, So talking is very easy. That's what you need, Bhakti, Jnanam, Vairagyam. It's not, there is no answer for everything in the material world. You're very limited, perception.
It just reminded me one thing, when I was little, I heard this story. One bhakta can take the whole village. It was a story. So is it possible if one is ready, the whole village can go?
Yeah, you must get the right bhakta. There was a fisherman, his life was very miserable. He's not earning much money. Then come to the house, the wife felt very insecure. No own house, then, every day eating porridge, no fish, no nothing. So she always telling the lazy fellow, go and get some better job, he's a fisherman, poor fisherman. So one day, he was very sad. He was swimming in the Ganga. It's what Amavasya, And then, and he was swimming and then he was thinking, so bad my life is well. Then Lord Shiva came. He also came to take bath in the Ganga. So he looked at Lord Shiva. I asked him, who are you? I didn't see you before. He said, I'm Lord Shiva. Oh, where are you coming from? He said, Kailash. Oh, Kailash, where is that? Oh, the Kailash from near 2,351 million, 80,000 miles away from your home. Oh, the Kailash looks. Is it bigger than this village? Lord Shiva said, no, much more bigger. Bigger than India? Bigger. Bigger? He said, no, If you come and sit, then you'll know how to explain to you. Oh, can I go there? So Lord Shiva say, you can go, no problem. But only you can go. Don't tell your wife. And it will be like a radio news in everywhere. You cannot tell anybody, even your own wife. So next Amavasya, I'm coming in. I'll take you in. Don't worry. The fisherman was very happy. Then he go back to the house. And this time the wife gave him the porridge, and he, throw, take the porridge, Who needs your porridge? Next week onward, no more porridge. It's going to be all fish. I'll be leaving from me. What state are you living? Oh, that one cannot tell you. And she said, I married you, I cooked for you, everything, now the good time coming, you are not telling me. You tell. You go, but you'll tell me. The wife, restless. What this guy likes, Amavasya is going somewhere. Then she was, nagging him, better tell. So we so told no. Better tell. Okay. I went to the Ganga bathing. I met Lord Shiva. And he said, taking me alone to Kailash. Nobody else. I told me, don't even tell your wife. I told the wife. And next day morning, the wife, took, water, pot, and she's going to take some water. The village, how they gather one place for water, collection. So she went there, and then, she was in the line, and everybody standing. She was in the line waiting a little while, and then she threw, the pot away. She said, what is this water nonsense? From Amavasya next day, how have this trouble in my life? People stand, they were thinking back, other what is going on? And then, please stand. Neighbor, please stand. Thank you, water, thank you so much for my husband told me not to tell anything. And talking, and then a friend said, I'm a friend, why? And so she told one that lady. And then the next moment, over the whole village, in the great jubilation, everybody not going to take the water anymore from any place. They said, next Amavasya, we all are leaving this village. And when the Amavasya came, this guy went there. And Lord Shiva came to take him and go. Then Lord Shiva came and saw the whole village. And Lord Shiva said, what is this? You only one. No, Shivaji. Only told my voice to It's like a radio. So Lord Shiva said, so what to do? Then fisherman said, I also don't know what to do now, but I must go with you. So Lord Shiva said, okay, with one condition, I only promise to you alone. So you catch my feet. All other people catch your feet. Your wife catch your feet. Wife, feet. Somebody, friend. Big line catching. And they're flying, flying, halfway through. The fisherman was in great anxiety because there are a lot of people. He said, Kailash will be enough for all these people or not. So he asked, holding, holding Lord Shiva's feet. He said, my dear Lord Shiva, that will be enough place or not in Kailash for all these people. Lord Shiva said, we are not in the ground, we are not in the Kailash, we are halfway. So don't talk. Go to my feet. Then little while he asked again, tell me how big is your Kailash? Lord Shiva says, it's very big. Then he said, is that big? He took out one arm. Is that big? Shiva said, we are not in the ground, we are not in the Kailash. No. Then he said, is that big? And everybody come back. That is very important. Whose speed you're holding. And this is a true story. It's true, but importantly, whose speed you're holding is very important. Okay, I think it's getting late, yes. It's going to be 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for being here today. And my humble respect and obeisance to the Vice Prabhu for kindly given us this great opportunity to assemble in His house and some way or other trying to understand Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande.